Alright, so my joke for you today is, what creature is smarter than a talking parrot? A spelling bee. Alright, we're going to read chapter 8 of Torpedoed. It's September 17th, 1940. Icy rain pelted the SS city of Benares. High winds and enormous waves rocked the ship violently. No passengers were outside since Captain Lindell's Nicole had issued orders for everyone to stay below decks. With the turbulent seas and gale-force winds, it would be far too easy for a person to fall overboard into frigid, fatal waters. Many of the passengers were so seasick again that they had no choice but to lie on their beds and groan or vomit. Derek Betch stayed in bed all day. The cabin steward, one of the Indian crew, kept checking on him, sweetly trying to get Derek to eat something. But Derek was too seasick and couldn't eat anything. Down below, the Corps children stayed in their cabins playing cards and reading, except at mealtime. Bess Walder was a little seasick, but not as bad as her roommates. She stayed in her cabin and read and took care of Ailsa and Patricia. When she saw her little brother Louis that day at lunch, she discovered he wasn't nauseated at all. She went to the rail to breathe in fresh air, hoping that would make her feel better. Louis came over, eating a quarter-pound bar of Cadbury's chocolate, and started waving it in her face. "Don't you want a piece?" he teased her. No, she did not. Then he started eating a succulent orange, which made Bess feel even worse. She was truly annoyed with him. John McGlashan, the second engineer of the Benares, was annoyed, too, but he was angry about something more consequential than obnoxious younger brothers. McGlashan had crewed his ship since his first voyage 4 years earlier, and as the second in command in the engine room, he knew it could go fast. He agreed with his captain. He thought the ship should go fast, and now. He knew that if it were up to Captain Nicole, the convoy would disperse at noon. He agreed with that. So when the convoy stayed together, he was furious. The ship should sail to safe waters quickly. He told the chief engineer that the Benares should cut and run for it, but it did not. The Benares stayed with the convoy, continuing to zigzag. Just before the end of day, the rain stopped, the wind died down, the ship steadied. What a relief to have a lull in the storm. A few adults strolled the deck, breathing in sea air, grateful for the calm. Some children came out of their cabins to play, too, on their deck below. The air was storm-cold and damp, the sky rainy gray. Then, for a few moments, the clouds parted and the sun appeared. The rays caught water droplets still clinging to the breeze, and in the sky above the SS city of Benares, a rainbow appeared. In the dining room at dinner time, the passengers were cheerful when they heard the Royal Navy escort had left. They thought that meant they were in safe waters. It felt like a party again. Those children who weren't seasick ate like kings and queens, just as they had for the past 5 days. As usual, they were allowed more than one dessert and any flavor of ice cream they wanted. Though the children didn't know this, the more they ate, the better their chance of survival in the cold North Atlantic. For some of them, especially the small ones, it would mean the difference between life and death over the next 24 hours. But nobody was thinking about that. They were just enjoying the food. When their dinner was over, Mary Cornish, Michael Rennie, Sybil Gilliatt-Smith, and the other escorts took the Corps children down to their cabins. Mary Macher, Gussie Violet, and Connie Grimmond and her other girls got ready for bed. For the first time since they'd boarded the ship, the children were allowed to put on their pajamas. Up until now, they'd been instructed to sleep in their clothes. Warm clothes, not pajamas, in case the ship was torpedoed and they had to evacuate quickly. But tonight it was pajamas for everyone. After Auntie Mary got her girls settled, she went back up to the dining room for her own dinner. She stayed for a while, lingering over a cup of coffee. The wind and rain had started up again. The ship stopped zigzagging because of the weather. But when there was another lull around 9:30, Mary headed outside with her new friend Marjorie Day, the head escort. Sybil Gilliatt-Smith, the artist who'd organized the drawing contest, joined them a few minutes later. Mary wore a thin silk blouse, a thin skirt with a petticoat underneath, and silk stockings. She had on a lightweight, short-sleeved jacket. She was cold, but it was so nice to be outside. The three friends enjoyed the ocean breeze, strolling and talking together. They talked mostly about the children in their care. There were so many children on board. Nobody could know all of them. But the escorts had already quite attached to the children in their own groups, even though they had met them only days earlier. In their group, Mary had not only Gussie, Violet, and Connie Grimmond, but also two sisters from Sunderland, and another pair of sisters from from Middlesex. One of her girls, Marion Thorne, Mary for short, had an older brother, Rex, on board. The youngest girl in Mary's group was a little one called Anne Watson, who had a mass of blonde, corkscrew curls. The oldest was an artist named Rosemary Spencer Davies, who at 15 was, Mary thought, already a beautiful young woman, inside and out. There was also 10-year-old Maureen Dixon, who Mary described as small and scrappy with a zest for living, and Eleanor Wright, 13, who was always ready to help with the younger children. Some of the other passengers strolled the deck too, including a Polish businessman, Boden Nagurski, and a friend of his, a diplomat also from Poland. Nagurski and his friend didn't talk to Mary and her friends, but very soon Boden Nagurski would get to know Mary very well. Mary, Sybil, and Marjorie continued to stroll and chat. Now and again the moon poked out from behind the clouds, shining bright and round, one day past full. Mary had a lovely voice, and she started to sing. She sang Green Sleeves, because her girls loved it so. The others joined her, and together they sang Christmas carols, anticipating the holiday 3 months away. The Corp children would be settled in Canada by Christmas. That was the plan. But in wartime, plans are all too often thwarted. By the next day, just 2 of these 3 women would be alive. Not far away, the German U-boat crew was getting ready to launch their attack. The storm had died down. It was dark. Through the periscope, they had the convoy in view. The lead ship was in a good range. A few minutes before 10 p.m., Ajax fired 2 torpedoes. Torpedoes last, which means torpedoes away. They both missed the ship. Nobody in the convoy noticed. Mary said goodnight to Marjorie and Sybil and headed downstairs to her cabin. On the U-boat, Ajax decided to give it one more shot. He fired again at 10:01 p.m., and in 119 seconds, just as Mary reached the end of the hall leading to the children's quarters, she heard a thud. It was 10:03. The ship shuddered and shook. The lights went out. Mary was plunged into complete darkness. She heard glass crashing, wood splintering. Alarm bells started ringing. She knew it could be only one thing. What everyone feared had happened. She had to get to her children.